And I'm curious, why do you think it's a requirement for us to have the fear of God in order for us to even reach the beginning of knowledge?
I feel like that's the only way for us to be receptive.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm not fearing God, whatever he's trying to tell me, whatever he's trying to lead me to, even when I feel like the Holy Spirit is trying to guide me somewhere, I'm gonna be like, nah, I don't see that. Y'all see where? No, I feel like I personally cannot be receptive if I don't fear God. I can't see certain things. I can't despise, you know how they say fools despise wisdom and instruction.
Yes.
If I'm getting wisdom, any type of instruction, if I don't fear God, I'm able to go, nah, that ain't it. I'm gonna just do me. So I feel like I cannot personally be receptive if I don't fear God.
I totally can understand that. Yo, and that's real. I'm in complete agreement with you. So one of the things that I want to do is I want to examine some of the words that we have here, right? I think the key word is fear, right? Now, I think most people, when they hear that word, they think about, scary movie, like being afraid or something, right?
Right, yeah.
I think it's important for people to understand that there's a different way that this term is used when we're talking about studying the Bible. So what I want to do really quickly is go to that interlinear. Remember when I was telling you about the interlinear Bible before, where I said it actually will align the English word with the Hebrew word so that we can compare the two? So that's what we're looking at right here on the screen. And the first word just happens to be fear. So this is what that word looks like in the Hebrew. And this is clearly the word that we see in English, which is fear. Now, something that I'm going to take us a little bit deeper. So now we're going to dive into a deeper study of this word fear. And one of the things that we can use to do this is what's known as a lexicon. So you know what a dictionary is, right? When we want to know the meaning of a word, we typically go to a dictionary, right?
Right.
So a lexicon is essentially, for lack of a better term, it's like a dictionary for words that we find throughout the Bible. It allows us to get a better understanding of what those words mean. So one of those lexicons is known as the Strong's lexicon. So it has a Strong's quote unquote number for every single word that you find in Hebrew or even in Greek when you're in the New Testament. So what we're about to do right now is take a look at what this Strong's lexicon has as a definition for the word in Hebrew that is translated as fear in English. Make sense? All right, fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. And now you see it brings us to a new page. And we get some outlines of how this term is used in the Bible. So we see, like I mentioned, fear, terror, which is what most people would typically equate to fear. We also see awesome or terrifying thing. We also see fear of God. And what does it say with regards to the fear of God?
Respect, reverence, piety.
Right. So when we apply that word to God, it's not talking about being afraid of him or him terrorizing us and demanding us to do something, but it's about understanding that we need to respect and revere him. So with that in mind, now we can go back to our original verse and look at this thing in context where it says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Let me ask you this question. If you were seeking some guidance, some information, some knowledge, some wisdom, would you go to a person that you know has failed in that area of their life over and over and over and over again?
I'd say yes and no.
Okay.
Because I feel like we can always learn something from people, no matter what. So I technically wouldn't be so like, what? You failed 50 times. Like, I can learn. Okay, you went that way and that didn't work. Thank you so much. Let me write that down. Like, there's ways I could pull out things that are wisdom that I can run with. Because, hey, if you've tried something a zillion times and it didn't work, I guarantee you, a zillion and one, you might knock it out of the park. Who are me to judge? I don't know that. I'm not sure. Now, granted, of course, I would go to this main successful person to be like, yo, I see you. You've done this. Let's get it. But then I would also go to somebody else who, hey, you might not have everything that I'm looking for, but hey, you've actually done the work, especially if I haven't done anything at all.
Right. And you are very sharp. You're very sharp, because what you said, whether you realize it or not, it's a very powerful principle. There's this statement amongst the Jewish traditions where they ask the question, who is a wise person? And the answer to that question is one who is able to learn from everyone. And you said that, and I'm sure you probably didn't even have no knowledge of that tradition or its existence.
Yeah, I didn't.
It just goes to show you how God will drop some wisdom on you. And like, that's some ancient wisdom right there. You just drop some old sage advice. You know what I'm saying? It's vitally important for us to recognize that. So I think I need to rephrase my question to kind of get to the point that I wanted to go with. But nah, you were definitely on point, and you were right. As soon as you said it, I was like, oh, she's sharp. She caught that. Because you can learn from any and everybody if you're willing.
But I see where you're going. I see where you're going with it. And for the sake of your question and not me going so super deep, of course, I'm not going to go to the one who's going to be like, I did it a zillion times. No, you're right. But for me personally, how I handle things, I'll still listen. But, for the majority, yes, we're not going to go with that person. We'll go to the, one who's been knocking it out the park. But yeah, I see what you mean though.
Yeah. So essentially, like a better way for me to frame that question is like, would they be the first person you call to get insight on that topic?
No.
It would typically be somebody who would you typically call first?
Personally, I would call somebody who I would say, quote unquote, is successful in my eyes with whatever they're doing, or who has the most wisdom in that department, who has been, quote unquote, successful in what they have going on with what I need.
And I got this must be God. I just got a new example that I think can really open this thing up, right? Let's shift to a different area, right? Let's talk about health, right? Something that I think we all can relate to in these times, right? So when you think about your health, if you start to notice that something isn't right with you, would you go to the person, and this is no shade, I got to say it over, this is no shade. Would you go to the person working in that McDonald's takeout line, that drive-through line? Would you say, hey, like, I got this ailment and I need some help? Or would that be the first
Absolutely person? Not. Look, absolutely not. No.
And why is that?
Their choices ain't no better than mine. Like, no. You get that 4 for 4. Wait, that's at Wendy's, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that 4 for 4, baby.
You getting the 4 for 4. Like, I can't ask you no questions. Like, that ain't it. No, thank you.
Right. So what's one of the main reasons why you would go to either your own personal doctor or go to the emergency room and, trust the guidance of any professional that's working there at that time? What is it about their advice that you will receive?
The knowledge that they have.
Right.
The knowledge that they have, and they know exactly, hey, I've seen this before. This is what's going on. 9 times out of 10, when you go to the ER, I mean, you got to be an extemporaneous person for them to go, whoa, we don't know. But they at least going to try. They're not going to worry you. They're just going to say, we're going to run a few more tests. If you ever hear that, they tried to figure out what is going on. Right. But at least you're in the right place. Now, granted, like you said, you wouldn't go to Home Depot or Lowe's and say, my foot, it's been acting up. They're going to be like, I don't know.
Right.
I'm not sure. But you're right. You would go to the person who can help you.
Facts. And here, I'm about to bring this all together. So all of this ties into the word fear, right? So the reason why you're going to go to the medical professional, is it safe to say because you respect and you revere what they're going to bring to the table in this certain situation, as opposed to what would be brought to the table by the person that works at a fast food line?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So when we think about what we were just talking about, the knowledge that we're talking about is the knowledge of the things related to the Bible. That's what Solomon is addressing. And when it comes to gaining an understanding of the things in the Bible, don't you think that God will be a good source to go to?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right. So when it talks about revering, respecting, or fearing God, and that being the beginning of knowledge, it kind of goes back to what you were talking about before. We have to go to him first because we respect, we revere, and we honor what he's going to reveal to us in his word. So
exactly.
I just wanted to unpack that, right? Because I know there are misconceptions that fly around about that word fear. And I just wanted to address it and let people know, hey, there's a distinction between terror and honor, or, reverence and things of that nature. And the reason why God is going to be referred to as being the beginning of knowledge, having that fear of him, is because we're going to him because we respect what he will reveal to us. And in this regard, what this text that has been inspired, passed down, the people who wrote it, who had an understanding or relationship with God, what they're conveying to us is something that could help us in our lives.
Exactly, for sure.